පළව පසුරු තුන පසුවේ මිනිත්තු 18යි. ඉතින් නැවත පරක් ඔන්න Good News Radio තමයි අහගෙන ඉන්නේ. මේ වෙද්දි දන්නවනේ කවුද මැදට ඉන්නේ කියලා නේද? අමුතුවෙන් ආයේ කියන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. මොකද අපි කලින් සෙග්මන්ට් එකේ මෙතනම එකතු කරගත්ත. හැබැයි මේ සෙග්මන්ට් එක විතරක් අහන කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා හිටියොත් කියලා මම කියන්න නායම. අපි අපිට හැමදාමත් එකතු වෙන තුම සීනිගම අවුතින් විනාඩි 5කට හරි Good News Radio එකට අනිවාර්යෙන් ඇවිල්ලා අපිට මතකයක් එකතු කරලා යන්නේ. එතම දන්න දෙයක් අපිත් එක්ක බෙදාගෙන යන්නේ. ඉතින් වසර 25ක් මේ සමාජ සේවා මෙහෙවරේ නියම වරය විදිහට Good News Radio සංකල්පයේ නිර්මාතෘතුමා විදිහට කටයුතු කරන Foundation of Goodness එහෙමත් නැත්නම් ගුණජය සතුට පබන මේ නිර්මාතෘ සභාපති කුෂල් ගුණසේකර මහත්මයා ඉන්නා මැදේ ශශිකල පීත් එක්ක මෙනා මැදේට ආයුබෝවන් ඔබ පිළිගන්න ආයුබෝවන් කියලා ශශිකල ආයතත් ආයුබෝවන් විශ්මි කොහොමද සැපසනීප හොඳින් ඉන්න කොහොමද අපි අහමු කුෂල්ගේ සැපසනීප කොහොමද කියලා මම දන්න උත්තරයක් මම දැනගෙන තමයි අහන්නේ
අත්‍තරම හරි කාර්ය බහුල වකවානුවක් මම ගිය සෙනසුරාදා සහ ඊට ඉස්සෙල්ලා සෙනසුරාදා දවස් දෙකේම මට මේ ඉන්න බැරි වුණා මොකද ගොඩාක් ව්‍යාපෘති තිබුණා ඒක නිසා එහාට මෙහාට ගියා සෙනසුරාදා එන්න බැරුණා ටිකක් තියෙනවා මේ දුකක් සීනිගමට එන්න බැරි වුණා සීනිගමට මගේ උපන්ගම ඉතින් එතකොට එන්න බැරි වුණා පොඩි හැබැයි ඒත් ඉතින් අනිත්‍යනේ ඉතින් ඒක තේරෙනවා අනිත්‍යයි කියලා ඉතින් ඊට පස්සේ ඒක හිම අතාරිනවා
Actually I felt the same way I was not here for 2 weeks when I was traveling to Azerbaijan and then the second Saturday I was really missing coming here and we were watching this race and I was telling my husband today's foundation day I really miss it and he looked at me like you're here watching a race what are you talking about
Yeah, I mean sometimes you feel when you're coming here consistently on a Saturday and then when you're not here wherever you are you still feel that you missed going to the village because that has been such an integral part of our life so but nothing is permanent everything is subject to change so you got to go with the flow there are other events that I get to talk probably another project has come up in Colombo like I must say if we talk about the recent past and what has happened we got involved with the 22 tuk-tuk riders that came from 11 countries
I saw some stories about that do you want to explain
I mean it's a nice concept it's a funny name it's very strange to say Pimp My Tuk-Tuk but they did this for the third time they are investment bankers and this time Microsoft also joined which was like a real blessing and then there were 44 who actually came as a group so there were 22 tuk-tuks and they were riding 2 in each they were riding it themselves so this is the third time they had this and also it's a part of a tourism kind of initiative because it's called community tourism that's another niche where they go from one I think they started from Negombo and then they went to 3 of our centers as well they went to Vavuniya they went to I think Tirukovil and then they also went to what was that Trinco yeah
so all 22 tuk-tuks
yeah 22 tuk-tuks they go one after the other and there is of course a backup team mechanics and whatnot and they are riding it so and our escort vehicle also goes with them so they stay in 8 days they stay in 8 hotels as well so they keep
so
going
they're supporting the local economy
I mean it's they are very well-to-do people and more than even the wealth part to take the time off for 10 days is I mean these are for example the Microsoft head of Asia is a guy called Mark so Mark basically is the head of Microsoft for Asia so imagine him riding that tuk-tuk and such is the portfolio of businessmen, the investment bankers, engineers, scientists. I mean, so many had come on board. So it's an interesting, and then they come and end up in Senegama, and we had a tour here, then had a brunch, and then they went back to Colombo for a media conference. Next day before they left, they had a brunch at the Kingsbury. So it's a very well laid out program, and they raise a lot of money, and they do water purification plants. They work with special needs kids homes. They work with us. So, of course, Foundation Goodness is the delivering partner. So we are very blessed to have them on board. And when they came here and they saw what we were doing, then there are other avenues that blossom. They want to connect with us into the future. They are now already planning the 2027 tuk-tuk ride, and they take a lot of pride, and they feel that they are really integrated into this, initiative. So it's a beautiful kind of novel, project going on a tuk-tuk. So
and these are all electric tuk-tuks?
No, they are not electric. We don't have the electric tuk-tuks to outsource, but we had, these are normal tuk-tuks, but they are branded with corporate, branding. So so the 22 have been picked up by a corporate, who would fund that $5,000 for one of the tuk-tuks. And they on their own go and collect revenue from, it's like a fun run, where you're sponsored. And they give you the kind of sponsorship that you require. So let's say my minimum target would be 5,000. So you have to raise that come what may. So like that, they raised to 22, and then they also raised the money for different projects. I think they have already supported more than 7,000 people to get purified water, from villages that are affected with CKDU. So whatever they see on en route, they go to schools, they provide stationery, meals, they give various things, then they go back and say, okay, every Friday I want to fund this, I want to give these kids a meal, things like that, They went to the Metseva in Vellavaya, where they have 140, special needs, and they would ask, what is it that is missing? So, and then this time they picked up for 3 more caregivers, like medicines, so many physiotherapy, so many things they do. So it's very interesting. And the fact that it also gets an awareness. So actually when they started, an Australian, one of our donors, replicated that from Australia. So it's fun going on. And then they film it. And then they release that film. So it's great for Sri Lanka because there's awareness, and everyone is on LinkedIn. So they put their reports on LinkedIn. It gets shared over and over again.
And then when other people see this fun aspect to it, they also want to be part of it.
It is. So they're really, and a funny part is at the end of the project, they have this brunch, and they select about, I saw about 10 people who slept the most. For example, who overslept, who didn't turn up on time. So they're given a punishment, and they're given like an award that day. So who was the most humorous, right? Who didn't really sleep, right? Who had most number of beers, things like that. So it's really, really funny, and how they do it. They really enjoy themselves. But many of them from 11 countries, actually, except for about 6, all the others hadn't come here before. So it was the first trip, and it left an inedible mark, for Sri Lanka. And they fell in love with Sri Lanka. That is usual, falling in love with Sri Lanka. So they want to come back.
So which countries are they from?
So they are from US, they are from Hong Kong, Singapore, England, Australia.
So how did they form that group?
So these are friends all over, but how Microsoft, I think they had met in Singapore and at a bar, and they have been starting to talk, and they have said, look, we do this trip every year, and Microsoft says, my gosh, that's such a lovely thing to do, why can't we join? So Mark got hold of many people within his network, and then started to do this, and three guys who started this, Alex, Paul and Giri from Singapore. And they were, most of them were investment bankers. And it was amazing how things have evolved now. And I think this time it was the best. The best one was done here. After the COVID, it took a setback and we couldn't do it properly. But now it's again, the momentum had picked up and it's really gone very well. So we had a lot to do, at different points. Our team was there and to coordinate, facilitate the visit to Vavuniya Center, Thirukovil and Trinco, and then ending up in, Senegal. So you can imagine what a, they covered 1,350 kilometers, in 8 days. And then they came here. So it's very interesting. And then they were hosted for a media conference by Hatch in Colombo. Yeah.
So is it a fundraiser for the foundation as well?
It is all the deliverables are through the Foundation of Goodness, because then you can monitor, you can evaluate, you can get the metrics, the data and everything. So it's we who basically do all the projects that they choose and we propose. Yeah. So it worked out very well. It's a very nice project. So that came along then.
So I think in terms of that, I think that's also a very niche thing the foundation can specialize in. There can be many other different people wanting to do different things, but of course an individual can't just do something. There needs to be a credible foundation. So if you can focus more on like this delivery aspect for all of these high net worth individuals or companies, that can be a great another self-sufficient.
I mean, we facilitate a lot of things like this, like sometimes the PR, the HR companies, want to come here and do a theory class in the room, and then when they come out, they see how theory has been translated into action. Sometimes HR, they go into a room, they have a day or 2 day session, then they come out, they have written a lot of things in the notebook, but to me, what is more important is to translate that understanding into action. That is what is the key, because here we got completely, put down by the tsunami into ruin, debris and rubble, and from there we started to build from almost ashes, so that's a good learning lesson for a lot of people who come in. So there's a few HR companies now started. In fact, I was so lucky also, I was chosen to speak at this international conference, International Coaching Federation conference in Sri Lanka. So there were about 365 companies, 365 individuals from different companies, hotels, bankers, garment industry, so many different areas. They have come mostly on HR and, it's about coaching aspect. So I was able to project the Foundation of Goodness, and many of them ended up coming here to understand and, probably to see whether my speech is in tune with action, so that worked well too. And then I think I spoke to also teachers called the International Teachers Forum at PMICH, where 400 teachers came from all over, international schools, local schools and everywhere, and it was interesting, and it was an interesting few days. And then on Monday we are also having the, by courtesy of New Zealand High Commission, we've been invited to participate for a session with the New Zealand women's ladies cricket team, and we are bringing 15 from the north and 15 from the south girls, and we are going to get them to see how they practice and how they train.
So they're going to Colombo?
Yeah, so they're coming on the 13th. They'll stay probably one night because it will be training at night under lights, so they'll have to stay over, north girls especially, and then New Zealand High Commission has paid for that already. So it's a massive reconciliation effort, because there are girls from the north, girls from the south, and then the New Zealand, ladies cricket team as the nucleus. So that's happening.
That's a massive opportunity to see a World
Yeah.
Cricket Cup
Yeah.
cricket team practice is a huge opportunity.
Huge opportunity, and they don't get that exposure, so it is brilliant, from that. So we are very lucky in that sense to coordinate so many things, like you said, deliverables. It's unbelievable what we get and asked, to do. So we are just basically, in between. We are like the conduit. We do, perform our duties to make sure that everything happens, So now, by some stroke of luck, I've been wishing for this, and that also materialized that now on Tuesday morning, we have the head coach, during that 2010 to 2015, or 16, where, Australia secured the most number of gold medals under this head coach called Alan Thompson. He's going around Sri Lanka with a group, and he's ending up close to Senegama, Radisson Blu in I think just before Gaul, Rathgama area, and then he is coming here on Tuesday morning for a session with the swimmers and coaches, and so that he can train the trainers and also see these guys are who have represented who have coached the Australian topmost swimmers and who have gone into Olympics and the World Championship. So I think these things that are happening, and so that we can showcase them to the rural village boys and girls. I remember like Missy Franklin, when she won 6 gold medals, she came here, and so like that. So the head coach of Australia, no matter what period, he was the head coach, right? So that means, his knowledge, his expertise, his understanding of the swimming, and training and development is so great. He's coming as well. So, I think we've inherited a lot of blessings in that, because we started the Foundation of Goodness like this. So many people are getting together and coming on board. It's like you volunteering here, Sashikala, no different. So, been like 2.5 years, you've been coming on every Saturday, which I gratefully recall and remember, and I actually make sure to mention.
Thank you. So,
moving on. Become embarrassed here, so.
Moving on to more important things, but yes, I think that's 3 great things, one with the tuk-tuk and 2 with the coaching related things. So, and I would like to point out, like, these are not just any coach or anyone coming. These are like World Cup, either a World Cup winning team or an Olympic gold medalist.
Head Olympic
head coach
team that is going into, and they want
so
to
which sport? If I swimming, right?
Yeah.
So that's swimming, and then cricket. So covering all bases, from the ground to the pool.
Yeah, and you won't believe the other. So there was a lady, I think you met, who came and volunteered here, called Rashana, the slim, tall girl who's from the US. And that day, so she was volunteering here. She also took part in the Miss Sri Lanka pageant, I think, and she was probably in the first 5 or first 4, whatever. And she's from New York, but Sri Lankan origin. And she sends me a message the other day. Hi Kushil, how are you doing? And I'm now at Harvard and doing my masters now. And would you believe that there's a professor who's into physics and maths from Harvard who wants to come and teach at a university for 2 weeks from Harvard. So you can imagine my tears of joy and how I rejoice. So I'm trying to connect. We work with University of Vavuniya in terms of our sports complex, and we have a very close collaboration. And they loved when I said, can he come and teach for 2 weeks? So, and he's from Harvard. So things like this, are happening because, we are always looking for opportunities to make things happen. So it's going in a way that a lot of rural girls and boys are being exposed to this kind of background. Well, I think when you do good things, the universe helps us to do more good. So that's what it is.
Yeah, and I think I would also like to point out that all of these come also because of the people believe in the foundation's capability. I really like what you mentioned about the tuk-tuk, about how the foundation was supposed to deliver, and it really looked like the team or whoever was engaged in really delivered well for it to succeed a lot. So it's one thing to have a project, to have an idea, but it's a whole other ball game to deliver it on ground. And the foundation really specializes in having those grassroots connections and really building on all of those relationships, so that helps them to deliver, because none of these organizations or individuals will be able to conduct their projects if there was no foundation to deliver. So ultimately I think it boils down to that as well.
Yeah, and also I think the trust factor, there is a lot of philanthropic people out there, but whom to trust is the key. And then doing it transparently, accountability, transparency, then what we do is we surpass donor expectations. Today, actually, that's what we specialize in. We would like to surprise the donor by giving a feedback that he or she or the company or whoever didn't expect. Now today you're having that photography class, right? So I was having this workshop and I was telling them, when you say, let's say you take on an order for a wedding, right? I said, you've got to have a good attitude, you have to give discipline, you have to have, nice ways about you, and it's not only the capturing, but just your PR skills and all of that have to be good. And I said, look, sometimes if you want to really create word of mouth experience, you take the order, right? You do album, but at the same time, what the client didn't expect is a frame that can be put on a wall, beautiful 4 photographs to go on a wall, so that they see album is, kept in a place that you have to take it out and then show people. But if you have it on a wall, so I said, do it differently. Have it on a wall. And then they see that there is this guy who did our wedding. He gave us this and it's there. So somebody comes, who is this? Who did it? Then the word of mouth goes. That's so, you've got to do something different. You can ask, because we have a lady who specializes, Sarah, and we talk to her all the time, and she comes up with her own ideas, and we deliver from the time it's the funds are credited and receipted. From that time, the acknowledgement process begins. And just the other day, right, Melbourne University, Sri Lankan students of Melbourne University, it's called Melbourne University Sri Lanka Students Association, right? So they have collected funds, 1.2 million, and they sent to us and asked what we can do, and we gave a whole list, people who are like needing medicines for, heart surgery, cancer, kidneys. Then, there was a tea estate. In the tea estate, the families, 30 families, didn't have water close to them. So they had to trek 300 meters to bring their water. So we are building like a nice tank close to there, so they don't have to walk like maybe 50 meters. And then they have water. So that's 120, 30 families means about 120 in general, the population. So things like that. Then, then the special needs. So we have a list. So, with that 1.2 million, we did 52 projects, right? 52 projects. And the total beneficiary count was about 500. Yeah. So, so they were like really, really happy, and because there's so many, because if you give to like, let's say this tank, right, straight away 120, right? So if you give some cricket equipment and support the school, it'll go into about another 100, because you are supporting all 4 teams. So like that. So then these individual people, 50. So it's a lot of projects like that. So, So and then then we are doing like a nice newsletter for them with their project. So they will circulate that to their team. So let's say they had a team of 15. Then they will circulate to them and see, hey, my gosh, and they keep it with them. Look what we have done. Sometimes if somebody is coming, we'll do a quick stand, and give it to them, like how the volunteers come. When the volunteers come, we basically, at the end of their stay, we give them a memorabilia. Now, even the tuk-tuk guys, when they came, they didn't expect. From the time they started, we captured their photographs and individualized 44 memorabilia stands. And oh my gosh, can you believe I was here, I'm going there, and I will see what I did and how they have captured, and we give them that. So then they keep that. That's going that extra mile, so that is how you attract more and more people of doing the best you can for the country. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think great strategies that you have cultivated throughout the years, and you've really built the art of found the art and then
art of humanity.
Further. Art of humanity. I think art of maintaining and building relationships also. Very well done. And then I think a really exciting few projects for the Foundation of Goodness within the next week. And I think this Women's World Cup is a huge opportunity. I think to some level the World Cup entry is free, I think, in certain stands as well, if I'm not mistaken, to watch, I think. So if we can facilitate some of our teams to go watch, that would also be a really nice experience.
I think anyway, I'm told that matches in Sri Lanka are free now. So that we encourage all the girls to attend and see these matches from anywhere. In Sri Lanka has been allowed free of cost entrance.
Not all the stands. I think there are a few stands you have to pay.
I think they have allowed like 2 or 3 stands. So unlike in India, there isn't that much of a crowd. But I think for the big match now today, Sri Lanka is playing, I think, England. Sri Lanka and England. So Sri Lanka is England. So there may be a lot of people who are wanting to go to Premadasa Stadium. So, this will only, seeing the, girls play cricket, they will also get, it's like the 96 World Cup, right? After you won the World Cup, everybody got excited and wants to play cricket like that. After we beat India in the Asia Cup, a lot of girls are coming out. Now from our own academy, from younger days, we have 2 girls currently playing in the World Cup.
Yes, I saw
2 girls.
Yes.
But there is also the wicketkeeper Anushka Sanjay. One is Kavisha Villari, the other one is Imesha Tulani, I think. And then we also had Anushka Sanjeevani play with us at the very start, So they were also, they built their platform from, so technically even Vishmi Serasingh played for us 1 year. So technically these have got associated with the Foundation of Goodness in some measure.
Every player does move on to other teams, other clubs. That's the whole point of it as well. But if you get the base from here, that means they are part of the foundation.
Look, there are so many now who are coming in. We have monthly coaching camps for girls, and I can see a lot of girls. And then we also empower girls in different ways. I think Vishmi is here, she's the head of Women's Empowerment, and I told her one day, can we not get, I love to see girls surfing, and in, because I've seen this in Unawatuna, I had seen this in Trinco, or Arugambe, sorry, not Arugambe, then Unawatuna, and I think probably Mirissa. So, Eligama. So I said to her, why not Senigama? We do so much on women's empowerment. She got, luckily they were all swimmers from the Brian Adams swimming pool, and they suddenly got on to surfboards. We got someone who was helping us to get into, and then today 6 of them are beautifully riding the waves. It's unbelievable, and I'm seeing that teenagers, but like maybe from 15 to 19, girls, but they're doing it beautifully, and a lot of people would have said, hey, don't take the risk, send them to the sea and whatnot, but would you believe girls, village girls taking, then I've told her, now let's play beach volleyball. So now she has started beach volleyball. So we are actually, what we are doing is, we are getting the rural girls to become like, competitive and play sport like how other cities are doing. So we are bridging the gap.
Actually, something I always wonder is, Sri Lanka being an island, why are we not into beach volleyball?
Oh my God.
Like all these European nations are into beach volleyball, but not us.
Yeah, but you're saying beach volleyball. I went for a swim in the morning, and when I come to Sinigama, every morning I run to Hikkaduwa, which is like 2 kilometers, and I have a super swim. I feel refreshed, I feel rejuvenated, I feel, I can't tell you how, happy I am and joyful and blissful when I bathe in the sea. It's like you put in like a lot of newness into your system. You feel like you're like ignited, and sea water, a lot of people don't know the sea with the minerals, that it is superb for one's health and the body, and I don't know. So I have basically I swear by the sea, and I'm a real fan of the sea. So even if I'm tired at my age, when I go to the sea and I completely get refreshed. So and I'm back to normal, and it's something amazing. So, but the point I want to make is that when you have a lot of boys and girls in this coastal sector, I go and ask them. When today I came and there were so many of them, I said, when did you swim in the sea last? I said, so maybe 6 months ago, maybe 1 month back, maybe 1 year ago. I said, go swim in the sea. I remember post-COVID or COVID time, it's not post-COVID, COVID time, I was telling them, go jump into the sea, you'll have an immune system, right? And nobody believed me. I went and I was swimming, and only I was swimming in the sea. Nobody. These are those days, right? And there were 2 dogs, running around, and me, and looking at the road from the sea. Trust me, maybe my belief, maybe the confidence factor, maybe, I'm reassured that this is not going to happen. And I mingled with a lot of COVID patients, but I never got COVID. So, and today as well, when I was swimming and coming out, because we have helped the Coastal Guard, the police coastal guard, we built that and spent a lot of money for them because they save a lot of lives. And I was coming, one of the lifeguards said to me, sir, I've got the shower ready for you to have I said, no, I don't take a shower after the sea swim. I let the minerals be in my system, in the body, for 8 hours. He said, oh my gosh, I have never learned that. He said, when we come out, we just come and rest. He said, let the sea water be in your body for 8 hours at least, because it's good for your skin. It glows, and these minerals are so good. Maybe it's good for your joints and all of the arthritis, many things. So I don't know. I have been experimenting, and for me, the sea, the sun, and the sleep.
3 S's, important for life. Sea, sun, and sleep.
Yeah, that's my equation, but I don't know whether it works with everybody, but I think it makes sense, because sleep, for example, is an integral part of your life journey now, as everybody says.
At least 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then, the sunlight also is so important, and for me, the sea. So, yeah.
Beautifully put. And today's words of wisdom, we can end from there. Sea, sun, and sleep. Remember the 3 S's for a healthy and healthy lifestyle.
And then you can also do a self-assessment.
So if you have sufficient sea, sun, and sleep, you can do a self-assessment after maybe about a month of having enough sea, sun, and
No,
sleep.
but I meant about self-assessment is to assess about yourself and to be better than you used to be.
Okay.
To be better than you used to be. Yeah.
Okay, so in total we have 4 S's. See, sun sleep and the self-assessment to reflect
And
about
the
yourself.
fifth one you want to know, self-discipline.
Okay, so we have 5 S's.
It's like the 5 story.
Yes, see, sun sleep, self-assessment and self-discipline.
Self-discipline.
So Kushal guarantees that if you have these 5 S's in your life,
100%.
you will have a healthy and a fabulous life. All right, everyone. That was today's conversation. A lot of things, as you can see, happening here on ground at the Foundation of Goodness. And with that, we come to the end of that segment, and we will be quickly moving on to the next segment. So do stay tuned. The time right now is 3:53 p.m. on Saturday, the 11th of October. We will be right back.